try to be chill, but you're so hot that I'm melted. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back before the cool done run out. I'll be giving it my best days, and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee with Rick Alexander. If you guys want to connect with me, you could do so at Rick Alexander _ and at Lionheart Radio on Instagram. The best compliment that you could give me is a 5-star review on iTunes, or to share this show with somebody that you think the message would actually resonate and it might improve the quality of their life. Because at the end of the day, I love doing these. I love like figuring out these little anecdotes or figuring out these little science-backed like nuggets of wisdom, or trying to frame something in a way that helps you think through it in your own life. But at the end of the day, the reason I do that is because I want it to improve the quality of your life. I looked around for a long time, and what I found is that people are bored. They're bored with their lives, and they get the thing that they set out to get, and then they ask themselves, well, like, is this it? The answer is this isn't it, right? There's so much more to life. Life is the most sublime thought imaginable if you really think about what it means to be alive, to be sentient, to be self-aware in this exact moment in history. And so I think for me, I would consider this show to be a success as long as I can spread that message and make that real for more and more people. Because people are hurting and people are sad. And I've certainly been there myself. So my new book and the direction of the show and a lot of my life is really about diving internally, figuring out who you really are and what you really want out of your life. So today we're going to continue the 4 laws of a worthy struggle. And law number 2 is interesting. I've talked about this one in a little bit of a different context before, but law number 2 is that struggle must never cause you to turn and run. If you're struggling in any part of your life, the answer is always to look for adaptation, or to look for what might be missing that is blocking adaptation from occurring. And this is the thing, because here's the thing. I've seen many people, I can use this one in a physical example, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I've seen a lot of people, they go into the gym 5-6 times a week. They're always putting in the work. They're in there for an hour. They're lifting, but their routine is kind of the same. They pick up the same weights for the most part, and they do the 4x12 or whatever. They do that body part. However, they break it up. And the thing that's missing a lot of times is an underlying linear progression, right? They're not moving somewhere. The weights aren't getting heavier. They're not, the rest periods aren't getting shorter. Like, there's a lot of ways to move in a linear progression, and you just need to put that underlying in your program and you'll be okay. But the problem is, if you are struggling and adaptation's not occurring, then you're probably getting really frustrated. And you're like, what the hell am I even doing this for? Same thing in a relationship, same thing in a job, same thing in a project, a business. Okay, so the answer is not to turn and run. If you start a business and you're struggling really bad, sometimes the answer is to fold, right? There is a time when it's like appropriate to fold a business because it's like you don't have the product market fit or whatever. But the reality is that if you turn and run every time you struggle, you'll never know who you are. If you're over the struggle, then this is the part that I've talked about before. Quit when you feel good. Quit on a good day. When you're struggling and just fed up and you quit, you're not going to be happy with yourself. It's like Steve Prefontaine, his really famous quote, "Don't let fatigue make a coward of you." And I really believe that. Like, if you are in the midst of fatigue, the answer is not to put your tail between your legs. The answer is to look around, to figure out what might be missing, to find resolve within yourself, if that's what it takes, to continue to go. Because otherwise, because struggle is innate in everything, right? And it's innate in everything good. If you want anything in life that's great, like, the barrier to entry is struggle. And sometimes I like to phrase it myself. It's like the greatest parts of life, they reserve themselves for the people that are willing to struggle, the people that are willing to go through the struggle and figure out what it's trying to teach them. And it's like this self-selecting model for greatness. And so you don't have to be great in order to achieve greatness or to do something amazing, right? And that can be relative for you. But the reality is that when you get amidst the struggle, the path isn't always forward. You know, sometimes Here's the thing that happens a lot in life. Like people get a little bit restless, right? And they realize it's time for something else. Like maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a job, maybe they need to move to a new state or country, and they're looking around and they're like, it's time for something else. And so then you jump to something else, and then that something else turns out to not be what you thought it would be. Or it turns out to hit a road. I see this in the military. People get out of the military. The grass is always greener. They hit roadblocks. They're not willing to go through struggle anymore. And so then all of a sudden they want to go back into the military. Right? I'm sure that happens in corporate America too. But the thing is, you got to remember why you left in the first place. Why was it time for something else? Sometimes like the spirit of something is just gone for you. It just is. Like you need to go do something else to be somewhere else. Like humans get stagnant, they get stuck in ruts. Well, when you do that, you get that call to adventure to go do something else. Sometimes you go do something else and that shit doesn't work out. And then you think, I was wrong for leaving. You weren't wrong for leaving. Remember those initial feelings that made you want to leave? Like, those things were very real. That you're not wrong for that. But the answer when you hit the roadblock isn't to go backward. It's to just find the new road. What might need to happen so that adaptation can occur, so that you can get past this struggle. And again, like sometimes if it's a business project, is there a time to fold? Absolutely. But fold when you feel good. Fold when you figured it out. Fold when you flushed out every single angle, not when the struggle's like closing in on you and you're feeling like failure and you're like, well, screw it. I'm just going to put my tail between my legs and go run. You know, one of the things I used to talk about in selection in the military all the time for our students, you know, we had 70% of people would quit like pretty quickly. And I remember talking to the students because I would always lead the soft sand runs, which are pretty brutal. A little bit better for me because I'm prone to running. But as students, like if you're not a runner, you get in that soft sand and you are sucking wind pretty badly. Well, the reality is you look around, we don't care. You know, this is what I would tell my students. We don't care if you're a good runner in soft sand. Like that doesn't make a good special operations military member. Like you're not going to be good at special forces because you can run. It might help, but it's not a quality we look for. What we're looking for in equality is the people that can do anything. The people that find their back against the wall, and regardless of having anywhere to go, they go forward anyway. And putting you running in soft sand, especially if you're not a runner, we might find that. And that's why in selection you run and you swim and you do obstacle courses and all these different things, because we are looking for the thing that puts your back against the wall. You know, there's other points of that, like we're looking for well-rounded people and people that can adapt to things. But one of the things you're looking for in a selection phase is the person who gets their back against the wall and moves forward anyway. And so you really need to ask yourself that question. When you're in struggle, the answer is never to turn around. The answer is to figure out why you're in struggle, to figure out what worked. If you have to outsource the answer, if you need to find other people that have gone through that struggle, then that's what you do. You're not in this thing alone. Which will actually allude into a further law later on. But like I said, the reality is that if every time something in your life gets really hard and turn into struggle, and you turn and run, you'll never know who you actually are. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Go out and find some struggle. Go find some on your terms before it comes to you so that you can figure out how you react, who you are, and who you want to be. And if you do that on your own terms before life brings struggle to you, you're going to be a lot more capable of getting through it. So hopefully this makes sense. You guys have a great weekend. I love you all. I'll talk to you Monday on Morning Coffee.
Oh my goodness. Black kid fucking white girl sipping on life and it feels alright, girl. White kids bumping this shit, feeling all black like this is our world. Fucking awesome, pretty good boy, educated like a thief in a hood boy. No keystone, got the password, they be yelling how, fucking adverbs. Levitate up to the top until you drop, and if elevating fails, you gotta hustle till it stops. Fucking awesome, pretty good boy, educated like a thief in a hood boy. Ever wonder why the thunder never stops? Got the sky yelling sunny and the world on lock. Girl, don't talk, if it works, don't stop, make it hurt a lot. You a freaking we know it, I heard a lot. Tryna act all funny, you ain't heard of us, but you chilling at the show looking nervous. Thinking there's some ways you could probably work to earn this. Fixing your hair in the mirror in the bathroom, getting your fix on the mirror in the last room. Mixed girl, ready for the mixed girl, looking for the whole team, shots for the rich girl, okay.
It's getting harder to have the way that I feel. They say this was meant for us, just tonight a part of the deal. We were kids without ambition, now it's all alright. Keep this playing in your system, let it run all night. Hollywood.
She'll probably be in LA working at the bar, little something in a cup, throwing money in a jar. Hope it all works out. I do. You hate this city, that's cool. I'll probably be in Frisco, party in the Bay. If you ever need a moment, you can holler my way. Yo, girl, don't worry about the buzz, don't worry about the drug. Just focus on the rush. Yeah, if we ever get to Hollywood, let it all out. Show them why you got it. Yeah, you got it, no doubt. It's all about the power. Power's all right. Even when it stops, we can party all night, all night.
It's getting harder to have the way